All right. Well, welcome back for number 19. We have sun up on day 3. Between here and now and the last time you were involved in this map with me, I had a bit of an issue. For some reason, my game didn't save. So all my mowing and sowing and rowing went down the drain. And so I had to redo it all. So let's hop down there. I did replant the field next to our paddock here over on that side with grass. And I mowed a little further than I did before over by where I was mowing. And I came up with more bales this time of both wrapped and regular. So now I just have to wait till the wheat is harvested and we will have some wheat bales. But we have hay and we have silage. And so I did download a mod. I haven't installed it yet, but I will be for the next round if we get that far, because obviously the gold is coming out. I might just continue the series and do both at the same time. But I do want to do a gold edition farm because obviously people are going to want to see the new farm and the new equipment. I am going to... I did download a mod that allows you to bale grass because as... Jade Storm pointed out, or maybe was it Jade? Somebody pointed out on my, I think maybe it was Justin Kelly, one of those, or James Kelly, one of these guys. Hang on, I'll figure it out. Hold on.
Talking to me?
It was James Kelly who said this, and he's right. You don't have to in real life with the baler. You don't have to ted the grass first. You don't have to make it hay. You can just pick up grass with a baler. In fact, if you're going to make silage where you wrap it, you want to pick up wet grass. You don't want to pick up dry grass because if the grass has become hay and it's dry, it will not ferment properly. It needs to be wet to ferment. So I downloaded a mod that allows you to pick up grass with the baler. Now you could cheat and make hay with it too because it becomes hay once it comes out, but we won't do that. We will actually ted the hay and then just mow grass to play like it's realistic. So the other issue that I ran into is after I planted the grass field, I realized that these upper fields here at the main farm had not been planted, either these two or the one up top. So I basically had no crops growing. So now instead I had a midnight planting. These crops will not be done until, I thought they were supposed to be done this morning, but they won't be done actually until like midnight tonight or later. So we'll have to just do them tomorrow. But that kind of stinks because that means that we are not going to get our straw, which means we are not going to be able to get our cows. But in the meantime, we have a little process that we need to take care of. So I'm going to grab this guy. And we're going to grab... Actually, I think I need... What do I need? I'm going to need some kind of trailer. I guess I just have to run up to the farm and grab the big trailer. And I don't know what I did with my arms. There they are. Okay. It's going to look funny for a little while because I'm just going to have arms. Boop. Grab some arms. What we're going to do today is we're going to move all that silage over to the biogas plant because it'd be nice to have that extra money, and we're going to put it right back into the cows. So, like I said, we're going to move that. So I'm going to pick up a conveyor belt, and we're going to use the trailer that I already bought. Though, I don't know, maybe it'd be wise to wait until we have a great demand, but I might do that. But see, then we can't really get very many cows. So I think I would prefer, I guess, to... I don't know. Bummer. I've got silage. The only thing I'm missing is straw for the cows to get total mixed rations. So we're going to have to wait till that harvest happens. But we're not going to get... Let's take a look at the weather real quick. Information... Yeah, we're not going to have a great demand for at least Probably Sunday. That's as far out as we see. But usually we don't even get that unless there's snow coming. And I don't see snow in the next 7 days. So there could be a long time before we have a great demand for silage. What did I do with that trailer? It should be in this shed right here. I've been playing. I downloaded this weekend a game called Farm Expert 2016. It went on sale. It was half off. So for the game, and it's there's a pretty big DLC that it comes with that allows you to do fruit trees and stuff like that. It gives you a bunch of new tractors and stuff. It was, I think, like $12 total. So I was like, I probably should get that because it's really cheap. The game itself isn't bad. You know, it's funny. It does all the things that I wish the farming simulator did, but none of the things that the farming simulator does. Does that make sense? So it's missing a lot of the great things. It has terrible graphics, but in some ways the graphics are better. It's weird. It has physics, but they're not very good. But the things that it does do, it has a built-in soil management system. The different types of equipment that are available are even more widespread. So you have like a post-crop harrowing tool. It's like a cultivator, but you'd use it after you're done with your crops. And you might use it to I don't know if you'd put manure out down, but it has manure. It has regular fertilizer. You have to build your own buildings. Like, it doesn't just, you start off with like a small cow pen, but then you can actually you can buy upgrades to make the cow pen larger. The equipment gets damaged over time, so you have to repair the equipment. And it's a really neat game. I'll do a little video series on it here when I'm not quite so busy. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to grab here. I have a front loader conveyor belt. I'm just going to grab the conveyor. It's $8,000. We'll sell it when we're done because I will only need it for this. Though maybe I'll keep it because it's kind of handy to have that around the farm. But it's kind of I don't want to say it's a cheater. It's kind of a cheater tool, but it's...
You guys need to go to bed.
What do I put in the eye drops?
Piri has itchy eyes from going swimming. She got chlorine. It'll feel better tomorrow morning, honey.
It's not that, they're just itchy.
It's because you got chlorine in them.
No, before, like after I got chlorine in them, they weren't itchy.
Oh. But one of the things I liked about the field management is that you have to plow between crops. And when you plow, it actually plows like a real plow, so it leaves the furrow that's furthest from your tractor. You have I think they call them forks that dig down into the ground on the plow. I'm not sure what you call that. It's the tool part that goes into the ground and actually makes the furrow. The one that's furthest from your tractor leaves a deeper furrow, so you can use that as a guide where to put your wheel. So when you come back going the other way, you put your wheel in the furrow, and it gets the plow perfectly aligned to make another new row without missing any spots. So, and the tractor tips into the furrow. It's pretty neat. Like, it really works like a real tractor would work the field. So it seems like there's a lot more field management to it, and I like that. It also has a full year to grow. So like, your crops take 3 months or 4 months to grow. So you start in April and you plant your crops, and then you advance it day by day, and you can advance months in advance or days in advance, and then you pop back in, and they warn you, like, be careful not to advance too far because you might miss the crop and the crop will die, and then you'll ruin it. But it actually has time management, which is really neat. The weather effects were really cool. So it's a neat game. It's definitely not nearly as polished as the Farm Simulator. The graphics are archaic in comparison in some ways. In other ways, it's better. It's really weird. I'll show it to you guys. I kind of feel like, for those of you that have been around long enough to be playing the Microsoft Train Simulator, if you guys remember that, and then Oron had this product called Trains. It's kind of the same thing. The Microsoft Simulator was missing things, but it was a very well polished product. Oron's Train the train game was very unpolished, but it had things that the Microsoft Train Simulator didn't. But it was, both of them were fun, but they both kind of missed the boat in some areas. And I feel like that about, the Farming Expert. But I think it was worth $12 for sure. But still, it was just a funny little purchase. I was like, man, that's kind of a good deal. I'm glad I got it. I don't know that I'll play it a ton, I guess is where I'm going with this. Especially with the new gold DLC coming out for the Farming Simulator. And really, graphics do make somewhat of a difference in the game. So if it looks terrible, it kind of makes it harder to sit there and play. Oh, and the other thing, too, that's weird about the game is that, well, not weird, but it's expected. Because they allow the damage model, which it doesn't show, but it reflects in your menu system. They did not get any name brand tractors. The only one they have is the global track, the Geo track. They have a larger edition of the Geo track that we have in this game. So I think it's Linder that makes that tractor. So you can buy a Linder tractor, or there's a bunch of generic, like there's a Massey Ferguson clone. There's some Fendt clones. There's a John Deere clone. And same with the harvesters. There's a is it Bison? Is that the brand? The Polish brand? There's a clone for that. There's a John Deere clone.
Yeah, it's not really going to help.
There's a Fendt clone. But they have a huge range of headers for each. One of the cool things about the other game is that each harvester has like 4 different headers to pick from, and different sizes. And then there's like 20 or 30 different plows. Oh, and every couple of years you have to deep plow. So you have to buy like a one of those like 2-bladed or 1-bladed plows that goes real deep into the soil, and you have to do that to your fields to keep them up to upgraded or up to standard grade or whatever. So it's kind of a neat thing. They really have a lot more equipment in it as far as types of equipment than the Farm Simulator. There's a whole bunch of different balers, all kinds of different windrowers, things that you just don't see in this game. It has a much wider variety in their store. But once again, the execution is lacking. So it's great. It's a great idea, but it's lacking in execution. So I wish they could combine the two, and then you'd have a much better product on this end, or the guys from this company would realize that they're missing those things and put them in the next iteration, or even work with that company to get them all put together. So today, while we wait, we're going to be doing this. And if you guys have watched some of my other videos, you've seen this before. But if you're new and you haven't seen the conveyor belt setup, this is what we're doing. We're gonna deliver our silage to the bioplant for some money. I would expect to make about maybe a little bit under $100,000, maybe a little more. I don't know. We'll see. We have 135,000. I guess I could just put the whole thing here, huh? If I can back out. Is that close enough? No, it's not going to be close enough. That'll be close enough. There we go. What's up, matey? I went to Trenton, New Jersey yesterday and today for a photo shoot, and it's a good trip. But I saw a couple Fendt tractors. I thought that was pretty neat to actually see them on the road pulling stuff, and they must have a Fendt dealer somewhere in Pennsylvania, because I was like, oh, look, Fendt. One of those missing manufacturers. So what we're going to do is we're going to dump this in, and you can see there's loading into the bins, but it'll fill up, so we actually need to speed up time to about 30 minutes so that it doesn't fill all the way, maybe even 60. So we're going to lose some of our day doing this, but as you can see, the money's rolling in. And as I predicted, I think the grand total for everything that we're doing will be about $100,000. But that's all for cows, so. But you can see why, on a normal farm where I wasn't using where I was using biogas, I use this to make money. I'll usually set a field or two aside, and I grow corn just for the purpose of chopping it up for silage. It was about $24,000 for that. And I just every day, put some in and scoop some out and make some money that way. You don't have to go over the top with it, but, you know, it is a way to add income to your farm. Desperately needed income. It was kind of neat. I was watching a promo video for the new propane-powered or natural gas-powered New Holland T6. I think it was a 150 or 155 or something like that. And it's powered by... Was it natural gas? I think it was powered by natural gas. But I might be wrong about that. I have to look that up again. But it's... Or methane gas. It powers itself, basically. And you just use stuff that you do on your farm for it. But they were demoing it working at a biogas plant. And then the end shot actually had what those 3 big bins that are down there with the domes on top of them. It was they had a picture of the tractor parked in front of one of those. So it is going on in Europe, and farmers are using that to make money. So I think it's kind of cool. But for this map, we're not going to do it. Now, for our mod map, for the gold edition map, we are going to do it. But in a balanced form. All right, so I'm going to continue scooping silage, and then we will... Oh, my gosh. And I'll be back. Oh, I just want to comment, too, on our road trip. The pen, I think somebody told me, I could be wrong about this, but I think New Holland is actually based in Pennsylvania. But they had the Pennsylvania Highway Commission for the Turnpike. Oh, crap. Has all orange New Holland tractors. So they look just like this. Like they had a bunch of most of them didn't have the cabin, but I'm imagining they're T5s or T6s. I think they were T6 models, but with no cockpit. They just had like they were for mowing and stuff like that. But they all had orange paint schemes. But then they had the New Holland markings on them. Like the front was the same and the markings were the same. It was over orange. I thought that was pretty cool. We saw like 30 of them. Oops. Trying to think of what else we saw. Just a lot of really pretty farmland. We saw a guy with a John Deere baler out baling bales. Making square bales. And on the other field he had round bales, so he was doing both. Saw a lot of wrapped hay making silage too, so that was pretty cool. This is our second to last load. The last load is about a little quarter trailer full, but it'll still be worth probably, $5,000. Might as well get it all, right? So right now we have brought home in the last 2 hours about $100,000 right on the dot, really. So I think I had about $73,000 going into this, and I'm going to roll out with about 75. So I'm not complaining. There we go, 956. $173,000. That'll get us some cows. If we could pick up 20 or 30 cows, I'd be happy. And now, unfortunately, we have to wait till nighttime to feed them. Because I have no hay. Hey. All right, catch up with you in a minute. All right, we are finishing up the last load. I'm trying to figure out how to do all of this stuff. I think I might just keep the conveyor. Like I said, it could come handy in. It might come in handy later. Though, in real life, would you conveyor manure? I don't think so. Maybe we just will return it. Oh, I'm such a realist. Just like that, flipping that around there. Nah, maybe we'll keep it. I think we need to keep it just in case. Just in case something comes up where we need that kind of support, I need a giant conveyor belt. Just so happens that I need a conveyor belt right here today. It is good for moving things around in vast quantities very quickly instead of having to scoop each thing individually. And in real life, you do see similar devices. Usually they're wheeled. They have wheels that you move them around on, but I have seen lots of conveyor belts and augers also in real life on farms in the area. You do see these things just sitting out in the field, and they use them to move things. So, because it doesn't go out of the realm of realism. We'll put this guy over here on the side of the barn where we keep the implements. Park it right there. We'll put our little arms back in the garage. No, that's not what I wanted. Whoops. That's definitely not what I wanted. Yeah, so we made about $104,000 on that silage scoop, which is great because we really kind of needed that little shot in the arm here. Drop this off. Good. And we're going to need to bale with the next harvest, so we'll start moving equipment up to the up to the farm. We'll use this guy to tow the trailer. We'll use the JCB to run the windrower, maybe. I should have gone the other way, maybe. Now we could go right up over here, though. There's an easy access road here by the biogas plant that takes us up to our farm. The farm park, as Goosey would say. Had a nice time yesterday and today with Goosey. I took her to Trenton with me. It was a long drive, and I hate driving through Pennsylvania. Sorry, you guys that are Pennsylvanians. That is a nasty, nasty drive. And they rake you over the coals on that stupid turnpike. I mean, it's like, could you possibly make one road that goes all the way through the state and then hold everybody hostage over it? Because it freaking cost me $98 to go across the state and back. It's just absolutely uncalled for as far as the rates. It is just way too much money for a toll road. But it's basically highway robbery. Anyway, and of course, it's super narrow, and you get these semi trucks weaving back and forth at 80 miles an hour. I hate it. I hate driving through Pennsylvania. I absolutely hate it. It's like the worst drive in life, except for maybe West Virginia. But at least West Virginia is less expensive. Mostly, though West Virginia's got a lot of taxes too on their roads. Not taxes, tolls. But just to give you an idea, on the Ohio Turnpike to get from, where I live over to the Pennsylvania border, which is about halfway across Ohio, it was, I want to say $6.50. And then to go across Pennsylvania was $90. How do you figure that that's a fair deal? But that's what they do. So, thanks, Pennsylvania. Up yours. It is a pretty state, though, I will say, but just very aggravated at the whole thing. But anyway, we went to Trenton, and we stayed overnight. I picked a nice hotel, got a nice pool, and Goosey swam like a little fish. We had played in the pool for hours, and then we went in the hot tub for a little while, and then we went upstairs. Ryan came with me, too, my 16-year-old, and we watched, this new show on the National Geographic Channel where it's called Diggers. They use metal detectors and they go to all these different historic sites and try to find different buried, artifacts, and then they give them to the local museums. So they went to a gold mine and they found a bunch of gold digging artifacts and then gave it to the local gold museum. They even found a piece of gold, which the curator was, thrilled over. He's like, man, we've had this mine for, as a museum for, 30 years. We've never had a real piece of gold from our mine, and you guys found one. So it made it was a real nice thing of them to do that for him. So he was really excited to have that. They found bullets from the shootout at the OK Corral, and a bunch of other, they went around to all these different sites from the Old West. They helped surveyors find a fort that was missing, from the Civil War era or post-Civil War era. It was on one of the routes that the people used to go back and forth, and They helped find it by finding artifacts that were buried in the ground. It was a neat show. Like I said, it was a I don't want to say cute, but it was a neat show. And but the thing that I didn't like was every time the one dude would find something, his name was like King Greg or something like that. He would scream like crazy and like flip himself around on the ground, and it was the dumbest thing. I'm like, man, what a little jerk. It's like the idiots in Pennsylvania, though. He did have the right of way. That's right. We'll just slowly ease him over. Oh, sorry. Did I cut you off? Anyway, so this dude he'd be like, whoa, look what I found. Woohoo, woohoo. And he'd flip around and like upside down and like roll around on the ground. And I'm like, okay. Nice overreact. And you could kind of tell, too, I think, that they would find the artifact and like unbury it and then put it back and then act like they just found it. So they kind of like reenacted a lot of stuff that they were pretending like it really was happening, but I think it was reenacting. And so that kind of bothered me too. But what they found was cool, and they would have local archaeologist come in and kind of talk about the things that they found. The one thing that makes me angry about all of those television shows is that I myself run a business that deals with photography. And the FAA is giving us such a hard time about the usage of drones in our photography. And as you guys know, the new guidelines came out, and from what I hear, and I'm going to have to go over them myself, obviously, as a business owner, I got to look into what the new rules are. But they are absolutely treating us in a draconian manner. They really are mistreating us, is a better way to put it. The FAA is being absolutely unreasonable in their allowing or not allowing, pretty much, businesses to use drones in any capacity whatsoever at this point. They're just basically like, if you do this, you're going to get fined. If we find out, they find some photography company, they did a flight. And now, I understand they shouldn't have been doing a flight where they were doing it. They were within 5 miles of an airport. But it wasn't a major airport. It was a private airport. And there were no flights coming in and out of the airport. So, and there aren't regular scheduled flights coming out of the airport. It's a local airport, and they weren't in the flight path. They were just within 5 nautical miles, and that's their new ruling is anywhere, I think, within 20 miles or 10, maybe 10 miles. But that kind of sucks because pretty much anywhere you go is within 10 miles of an airport. If you just say any airport, like I could go to some guy that lands his airplane in a field in Wellington, and they would consider that an airport. And that to me is bogus because then there's like 80 million airports, and you wouldn't be allowed to fly a drone anywhere. But the new measures are absolutely draconian. You're going to have to register your drone, whether if you purchase it now, it'll be registered. If you have purchased it before the registration was, then you're required to go register your drone, serial number, GPS information, all this stuff. And I am pretty pissed off at the way they're treating the whole situation. They're treating us like we've done something wrong already and that we're criminals. And I'm like, no, I'm using it to help realtors sell homes. And we're using it to videotape the outside of the house and to photograph the outside of the house. That's it. We're not doing anything illegal. We're not doing anything dangerous. I don't want anybody around when I do that. So it's like, it's a very frustrating situation for me as a business owner because it means that we're probably not going to be able to do it anymore. And that's going to really kill our business. Thank you, FAA. It probably is going to, I don't want to say it's going to put me out of business, but we're going to lose a lot of clients if we can't do the aerial photography. That's one of the things that helps me stand out from other people because I'm a good pilot. So my being a good pilot helps me stand out because a lot of the guys, they do aerial photography, but they don't know how to fly. And they crash their drones, and then it's not available. And then, but I am a good pilot. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been flying remote control things, and I just, as you can tell, I'm very upset about it. So then I go to watch these television shows, and I don't have television at my house. We got rid of cable like 10 years ago. We do watch things on YouTube, obviously, but I'm not sitting down watching television. Well, last night we're watching Home and Garden, and we're watching the Discovery Channel, and we're watching National Geographic. And guess what? Every single show that we saw had drone shots in it. Every single one. So why is it okay that Hollywood can go out and do whatever they want with drones and get away with it and broadcast it on national television daily, nightly. Every single show that's out there is showing these drone shots. And yet if I take it for my poor struggling business as I'm trying to feed my kids and I'm getting in trouble for taking my drone out to photograph somebody's house, how fair is that? It's just I am so, you can tell it makes me very angry. The whole situation is bogus. The government is stepping in where they should not be involved, and it's a very bad situation. And I hope that they, to be fair, if they wanted to make it like if they really seriously are concerned about people's safety, then here's what they need to do. You need to take the drones off the market that are commercially available, take them all off the market, and make them completely illegal unless you have a license. And then only people that have licenses are allowed to buy it. Make it just like purchasing a gun. If you're going to be jerks about it, then let those of us that are willing to pay and go through the classes for the licenses to own the equipment. And then don't let anybody else own it, if that's what you're going to do. But no, instead they're letting all these people own the equipment with no license, but yet anybody that uses it to make a business, they're the ones that they're punishing. It's just so backwards. So anyway, I'm very frustrated at this point with the whole situation. And like I said, I need to really go through with a fine-tooth comb on the new regulations and see what they're requiring of us and if it's something that we can still continue to do. But I might even go rogue. I mean, I feel like at this point, the way that they're identifying your drone is by tapping into your GPS. So if you fly your drone, they're going to say, well, we recorded you on the GPS. And so they can tell that you've been flying. So I'm going to make a drone that doesn't have a GPS system in it. And then I can fly it whenever I want, and they have no say of when I'm flying or what I'm doing. But that's illegal. So then again, it's like now you're running all kinds of risks. So I don't know. It's really frustrating. I'm livid about the situation, obviously, and I think that it's unfair the way that we've been treated about it. But what are you going to do? The government does what the government does. They could care less about us, and they really just care about serving whatever businesses it is that are benefiting from us not being able to use drones. Maybe that's Hollywood. Maybe what they're doing is they're trying to give Hollywood exclusive usage of drones. I don't know. Some lobby group somewhere has made it so that we are having a difficult time getting to use it for personal use. And it disgusts me. But what are you going to do? We're stuck dealing with it. And I don't understand the ramifications of they've never said why they're being like that. Every other country in the world allows commercial use of drones. Every other country in the world. We are the only country in the world that is not only not allowing the use of drones for commercial work, but we're going the opposite direction with our new regulations. They are making it harder and harder to do. So for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's invasion of privacy, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just that people are, but I feel like it's backwards, and you should be able to run a business with one of these things. So anyway, that's my high horse for the night. But I was very frustrated yesterday when I was talking to my friend who was also a drone pilot, and he's like, "Did you see the new regulations?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Well, they're coming out today, and what they're saying is that there's going to be all kinds of new restrictions. Instead of it opening it up for us to do business, they're just making it harder and harder for us to do business." And, it affects me personally. Pray about it, guys, and really think, what do you guys think about the situation? Like I said, personally, it frustrates me because it's directly related to what I do, and they're going to put me out of business. I mean, we're going to lose a lot of clientele. I'm going to lose a lot of money, and it's going to make us a much less profitable business by half. I can barely afford to live as it is right now. So if that goes down the tubes, I'm screwed. So it's over what? Why are they restricting us? They can never give a reason on that, but they'll do it anyway. They're just going to restrict us. So, all right. So now that I'm angry, we have set up all of our tractors for our bale and harvest here. We'll harvest the first field and then set them to work on the second field. And while they're harvesting the first field, we'll bale the second field or the first field. We'll get this guy up here. And we're going to order our cow shipment now. Oh, man, I'd love to upgrade this thing. Wouldn't you like to see this upgraded? I would like a bigger harvester, though we don't have a ton of fields right now, so it's not the end of the world if the harvester is not upgraded, but it is a small harvester. We could use at least one size up, All right, $178,000. That is going to buy us what? We're going to go into the menu, and we're going to spend frugally because, like I said, I also want to be able to buy other things. So we definitely need to expand the farm. I need to buy those fields at least above the farm. Hang on, I gotta move around.